What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Roman's Creative Academy. I am your host, Jay.
And I am Mike.
And today we're going to talk about mindset shifts that completely changed our business. Many of you know that we went full time, both together, a month apart. So we really had to have a mindset shift when we were just relying on ourselves.
When you're an entrepreneur, the hardest task that you have to overcome is your mind, right? There are a ton of fears. There's a ton of worries. It's outside of the normal box that we've always been taught is where you go to school, you get a job, you have a paycheck every month. Well, when you're an entrepreneur, you are relying on yourself to produce and to grow your team while still producing revenue, and it can be very scary. So the best thing you can do is have a shift in your mindset. And we're going to go over a few of the things that really helped shape us and change the way that we were programmed basically our whole life.
And this topic came about because we feel like in the industry, a lot of people don't talk about the struggles. And mindset is definitely one of them. We're the first to say that we don't wake up every day happy-go-lucky, like this is all rainbows and sunshine. There are hard days.
There's hard days. There's times where you're scared, you're worried. That's all normal. There's times when you're on top of the moon, right? That's going to be normal. But what you need to do is work on your mindset to help mitigate the highs of feeling great and the lows of feeling really nervous and scared, like you don't know what to do.
I was actually at the gym today, and I want to bring this up, where I read this man's shirt in the back, and it said, "Don't let the bad days win." And that really stuck with me because it's so true. Don't let the bad days win. Don't give in to the emotion that you're feeling, but rather stay consistent. So let's dive right into the four main ones that we're going to talk about today. Number one being, we don't have to do everything ourselves, right? So when we first started, it was just us two. That's it. But we quickly felt overwhelmed. We were producing and we were scared to take that next step. And what was that next step that we knew we had to do, but just didn't want to do?
Absolutely. Honestly, the next step, we realized, hey, we can't continue to do all these things ourselves and then also expect to grow. You have to be real with yourself, right? And the first step we took to at least get ourselves out of some seats and put some trust in other people through our guidance and through our training was hiring a VA. And that VA was the person to help take a lot of the load off of our plate with talking with sellers on a daily basis, because you're going to have multiple conversations every single day. Now, if we're trying to grow the business, we're trying to close deals, we're trying to look outside to see what else we can change while still being in the business doing the grunt work, the day-to-day, it's impossible, right?
So I can talk about team all day. Our team is everything. But yes, that was the very first scary step, was to outsource. And at the end of the day, if you're already thinking about hiring someone because you want to get some time back,
You
it's
should
time.
be. Yep. As soon as that thought comes to mind, as soon as you start feeling overwhelmed, that's where your next step should lie. And you should always be interviewing, and you should always have a roster of positions or people or jobs within your business that you think can be filled. And if you feel like they can't be filled at the moment because of revenue, then you need to account for that, and you need to set aside based on whatever income generating tasks that you're doing.
And I'm glad you said that. That just sparked something in my head. It was like, hire people who do it better than you, right? So look at yourself. Where are you lacking? And hire people that have those strengths that you typically don't. For example, organization is a common one. If you're not an organized person, you don't want to hire someone who's also unorganized, right?
You guys need to offset it yourselves. And another thing, me and Jay, we're not in the business of creating all this content and all this social media and knowing what the trends are and all that. That's a whole nother business that we have no interest in learning or wanting to learn, right? So what did we do? We said, okay, social media is how we get a lot of our leads. It's how we make a lot of our networking connections. And we said, okay, well, social media is something we cannot lack on. So right then and there, just like we talked about, we started feeling overwhelmed. So we went and found a social media person who's our social media manager now and helps us with all of our content and gives us ideas and all that stuff. So it takes off those tasks off our plate, and we just have to produce based on a guideline. Somebody else who is a master in the industry can tell us what to do.
And I'll speak for myself personally. When we hire the person, you'll know very quickly if they are going to continue to stay a part of your team or it wasn't the right fit. But once you get past that hump, I know that when I hire that person, it gives me a push to want more, to keep going. So that mindset shift of I have to do it all by myself and I'm not ready to hire, actually almost when you jump, pushes you to do more, to achieve more.
Yep, exactly. Not only because of the fact that you have more time, but because you're pressed. You have to provide for now not only yourself, but for other people. So now those times where you're feeling kind of full and you're like, we're doing okay, that it's going to press you to do more and to be better and to continue to grow, right? Every step in the entrepreneurial world is scary. Buying a house, right? Hiring a team member, doing the deal. It's all scary. But at the end of the day, you need to press through. And our first press to free up some of our own time and that mindset shift of not saying, I could do it the best. There's no one better than me. That's where we started to really take off and grow.
So take action, but take calculated action. Just don't get boggled down on the calculation. So number 2, which is what brings us to the next one, is we get to do it. We may not want to do it, right? So I always say this to our students is like, work on yourself too. It's not just your business, but you get to go to the gym. You may not want to go to the gym, but if you are a better version of yourself, you are a better version in your business and all of that good stuff.
There's a reason all high-performing entrepreneurs are typically gym rats. You need to be very good with yourself. You need to be regimented in all aspects of your business. And typically, health is the first stop. So it's typically not all a show and everybody's just doing it for the looks. It's for the simple fact that health will equal wealth, because if you're healthy, you think clearer, you have a better mindset, right? All of those things add up to produce good performance in your business.
And it's easy for the business to consume you. Don't allow it to, right? Remember why you're doing things. Remember your boundaries. And that'll allow you to grow at a pace that is comfortable to you, which gets me into my third one, which is your journey is not the same as everyone else. Let me say that again, because a lot of people love to compare themselves.
I'm number 1 on that list.
Your journey, it's not the same as someone else.
Jay was really, really good at this from the start of saying, this is my journey, this is my goal. I struggled with it for a very long time, and it's still something that I have to work on, because I'm really big about being transparent with you guys, right? If you look outside and you start to compare yourself, I'm not where that person is, or I should be doing this because they're doing it. It's all distraction. It's all your mind. It's your mind telling you, excuse me, but bullshit, right? It's your mind telling you all this BS that you're not doing good enough. You're right where you're supposed to be, and they may have a ton of other reasons why they are where you're not, or vice versa. You have no idea how many people are actually looking at you and saying the same thing. So what you need to do is just basically have a narrow focus, right? And make sure that you're following your journey, you're following your vision, and you're hitting your goals. And eventually you will get to wherever it is that you want to be. You don't need to be where the other person is, because just like Jay said, your journey is not everyone else's journey.
We are giving you permission to stop caring about what others say and what others do.
When we started this, no one believed in it. Our families, it's outside the realm. Jay's family is, a bunch of like solopreneurs, like they started businesses. My family was never entrepreneurs, right? So going into all this, we we had support, but they didn't understand it and they didn't really get why we were doing it. They're like, you have great degrees, you have great jobs, why are you doing this, right? But if we would have listened to that and self-doubted, we probably wouldn't be here talking on this phone or in this camera with you today, right?
I actually had one of my bosses previously tell me, hey, go to college for business. And I looked at him and I said, absolutely not. I want to go to college for criminal justice. Looking back at it, he was 1000% right. If you're listening, you know who you are. I should have listened to you. But let's get to the last point, which is a huge, huge topic that's talked about in the industry, and that's shiny object syndrome.
You're going to go on Instagram, you're going to go on Facebook, you're going to go on TikTok, you're going to go on this, you're going to go on that. You're going to see this person making hundreds of thousands of dollars wholesaling cash deals. Then you're going to go and see this person making a ton of money, they say, right? It's all they say because social media is the flex reel, doing flips. Then you're going to see everybody doing the Burr method. Then you're going to see people like us doing creative finance. There's money to be made everywhere, but where is it that you want and need to focus based on what it is in your life that it calls for, right? And if you pick and from this, I want to do a little of this, and I want to do a little of that, and I want to do that, and this and that, you are going to get so off-railed that you're not going to go anywhere, really, right?
I just want to say something, a little secret, right? Yes, we're on social media. Yes, we're out there. We like to share our journey. But sometimes the most successful people are not going to be found on social media. They don't have time for it, right? So just think about that.
Yep. Think about this. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs, they're in their 60s, maybe even older, maybe a little bit younger. Not all of them are like this have this big media presence or this big following. Some of them you never even know, and they're multi-bajillionaires, right? And not to say that money is everything, but if you have a successful company, you get rewarded by getting paid, right?
So, and I'm glad you said that, because where does shiny object syndrome come from? You're like looking at, this, I want to do this. Maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll do that. But where does it truly stem from? What is it that makes it shiny? And that's money, right?
You're always looking out. You're saying, well, I'm not making enough money doing this. Well, then maybe I should try what they're doing because they're having great success. And then you go and dabble in that for like 3-4 months, and then you're not getting success. So then you go somewhere else. Well, let me give it to you straight. We've been doing this for 3 years and we're still growing, and we've never lost track. There's only one time that I ever lost track, and I cut it in the ass so fast because I realized that I got shiny object syndrome, right? And that one thing was I was having somebody bring me leads for big multifamily apartments. I have no business dabbling in that right now. That's not where I specialize in, and that's not where Jay specializes in. And that took me far outside my realm to learn something that I wasn't really in the position to be able to learn at that point. And then our business started getting put on the back burner. And I recognized that after a few weeks, and I cut it as fast as I could, right? And why? Because there was a shiny, huge dollar symbol getting flashed right in front of our face. And I was like, well, I gotta execute this, because I was like, I can do it. That's no problem. But that's shiny object syndrome. The root of it always is money.
What snapped you out of it?
What do you mean?
What snapped you out of the shiny object syndrome?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically looking in and saying, crap, like our business is taking a fault because of the fact that this is not something that I specialize in right now. I specialize in one thing at the moment, and I'm a master at it. And there's things that Jay's a master, but I am a master at closing creative finance deals.
So he went back to his why, his business, and that snapped him out.
Yep.
So remember your why at the end of the day, right? Be good at one thing first and not everything at once. Remember, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep. If you're a jack of everything, then you are not focused on one. It's kind of like the other saying where You know a lot about a little or a little about a lot. You want to know a lot about a little, right? And you want to master that one subject.
So, with that being said, those are the 4 mindset shifts that we've taken in our business in the past 3 years so that we can continuously grow upwards and get better every day. And we really want you guys to take some time to reflect on what it is. What are your next steps? What is it that you want to specialize in,
Yep.
right? And you are more than welcome to hit the link below. This is new. This is something new that we are doing and we're going to continue to do, is that if you have a question for us, just drop it in the link and we are going to answer it. We hear you.
Yep.
We want you to know that we're listening.
Yep, we're going to make sure, fill it out. You can ask as many questions as you want. There is no limit. It's not one and done. Every day you can submit a question. And every time we see that question, we will make sure that it's answered. And stay tuned on how we're going to make sure that we get it answered for you, right?
Make sure we are going to be announcing it. So make sure you follow us on Instagram as well.
Yep. And if you don't know, I'm Roman with Mike, Roman.
And I am Roman with J, Roman .with.j. So please give us a follow if you liked this video.
Always make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we will see you guys next week.
Have a good one.
See you guys.